Hi guys, I'm Shay and today I'm going to show you how to bake gluten-free scones. This scone recipe is for the March Gluten Free Baking Challenge recipe. The Gluten Free Baking Challenge is when I show you how to make a new gluten-free recipe every single month. Scones are easy to make, call for just a few ingredients, and minimal baking equipment. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you never miss a gluten-free baking tutorial. Alright, let's bake! First, we're going to start by preheating our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we're going to take our baking sheet and line it with a silicone mat or with parchment paper. Then we need a medium to large size bowl. So to our bowl, we're going to add 2 cups of gluten-free flour. This flour blend already contains xanthan gum, so if your flour blend doesn't have xanthan gum in it, you're going to add 1 teaspoon to the flour. To our flour, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of fine sea salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. We're going to go ahead and mix this up and get all those dry ingredients combined. To this, we're going to add 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter that's cold and has already been cubed. We're going to use a pastry cutter or a fork or even your hands to cut the butter into the flour until it's nice and small. You want fairly small pieces of butter for this, and the butter should be smaller than if you were using regular all-purpose flour. Now that our butter is cut in, we're going to use our spoon and make a small well in the center of our flour. To this, we're going to add 1 egg that's already been beaten. And then we're going to add 2/3 of a cup of buttermilk that is cold. Now we're going to stir the egg and the buttermilk together. And once that's mixed, we're going to start mixing in the dry ingredients. Now that our dough is together, we're going to set this aside, and then we're going to get our work surface and put a little bit of flour on here so we can roll out our scones. Okay, I've got flour on here. I'm going to transfer my dough right onto it. I'm going to add a little bit more flour to the top just so I can knead this together. Form it into a ball. You want just enough flour so it's not sticky. Okay, we're going to pat it out. You can use a rolling pin if you want. And you want to pat this out until it's about 1/2 inch to 1 inch thick. If your hands start to get sticky, just put a little flour on your hands and dust them. Okay, I'm actually going to use the rolling pin and make the top nice and smooth. This is about as thick as I want it, so I'm going to use a 2-inch cutter and just go straight down and lift straight up. You can pop the scone right out. And I'm going to repeat that for all of my scones. Now that my scones are cut, I'm going to put them on my baking pan. And then instead of re-rolling this, what I do to keep the layers still there after it's baked, I stack the pieces. And once they're stacked, I just kind of press them out and roll out the top a little bit. And then I just cut them again. The ones that have been rolled out twice will not rise as high as the first batch that we cut. If this starts to get sticky, just add a little bit more flour. Just a tiny bit, because you don't want the scones to get tough, but you also want to be able to get them off your board. Now that our scones are all cut out, they're ready to bake. What you can do if you want is put these in the fridge for 30 minutes before you bake them, or you can bake them right away. Either way you do it, before you put them in the oven, you're gonna brush the tops with a little bit of extra buttermilk. This will make the tops of the scones nice and golden brown. Now I'm gonna go ahead and bake these at 400 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. All right, so now our scones are completely baked, they've cooled off some, and they're ready to eat. So I've got some faux clotted cream here. Clotted cream is very hard to find here in the States. You can make your own clotted cream if you have heavy cream that hasn't been ultra pasteurized. That's also really hard to find here. I haven't been able to find it in any of the stores around me. So I've got a faux clotted cream recipe that is in my Instagram reels. I'm gonna link to the faux clotted cream recipe in the description below. You can click that link and get the full recipe, directions, ingredients, and a video how to make it there. All right, so we're gonna open this up. Spread it with some of our faux clotted cream. We're gonna top it with a little bit of preserves. Just use your favorite kind. This one's cherry because that's what I have. Put the top back on. All right, taste test time. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Probably can't. That's good. All right, so there you have it. Gluten-free scones. If you love this recipe and gluten-free baking tutorial, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe below so that you never miss another gluten-free baking recipe. The full recipe is linked to below for all the info you need for the March Gluten-Free Baking Challenge. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, or you can connect with me in my Facebook group, the Gluten Free Baking Club. All right, bye. See you next time. Scones. To this, we're gonna pour in, oh shoot, Bentley, go lay down. Bedtime. Either way you do it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and bake these at 400. The full recipe is linked to below with all the info that you need